Hey, welcome to Diamonds and Rust. I'm your host, the Stray Cat. In what I like to refer to as the golden era of horror films, that is, the 70s and 80s, there were a few prominent directors paving the way and setting the template for other filmmakers in the genre. When a name like John Carpenter, Tobe Hooper, or Wes Craven were attached to a film, it usually meant good things. Usually. But for every Halloween, there was a Prince of Darkness. For every Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there was a Funhouse. And for every Nightmare on Elm Street, there was a shocker. The film had a movie poster and a tagline, "No More Mr. Nice Guy," that really jumped out at you. Top this off with a kick-ass soundtrack, and your expectations go through the roof. So let's check it out. Right away we see a psychotic TV repairman frantically working on something as the opening credits roll. We then cut to news footage giving us exposition about a serial killer at large.
In the early hours of this morning, the killer struck once more, again killing an entire family, again escaping without being seen.
Next, our hero is introduced. College football player Jonathan Parker. His coach chews his ass and fits in some more exposition.
Training, coach, I swear to God.
You know, you could be one for the record books, Jonathan. You come up the hard way. You got great talent.
Then we get some slapstick. And then some more slapstick. After practice, Jonathan and his girlfriend see a TV repair van parked at Jonathan's parents' house. And for some reason, this raises suspicion. When he goes into the house, he finds his brother murdered and a serial killer holding his mom and sister hostage. He wakes up to find out that it was just a dream. But a call from his father reveals that it actually happened.
This time killing the wife and two foster children of the detective leading the search for the killer.
After the funeral, Jonathan tells his father, or foster father actually, about his dream.
I dreamt of the murders, Dad. Just the way they happened.
At first he's a real prick about it,
You on drugs or what?
but Jonathan eventually convinces him to check out the TV repair killer.
I bet I can take you to where he works.
All right, you tell me, I'll check it out.
No.
Break it. Now, wait a minute. You don't have a warrant? This is breaking and entering. You know that.
This place has already been broken into. We're investigating an apparent burglary here.
Right. You're right.
This is all because he had a dream.
It was resourceful for them to have a tire iron handy. They break in, and the killer manages to kill one of the cops and steals his uniform to kill the other two and flees. The next day, the newscast reports what happened along with the police sketch that reveals the killer to be none other than Mr. Clean. Next, we get what I think was intended to be an emotional scene.
Happy birthday.
When Jonathan gives Allison a heart-shaped locket for her birthday.
Suggests a man with shaven head.
He apparently struck again early this morning, killing a family of 5 in their sleep.
Is that the only news they have to report? The killer, now known as Horace Pinker, breaks into Jonathan's apartment and kills Allison. Well, the killer definitely had the element of surprise going for him, as no one would be afraid of someone named Horace Pinker. His coach breaks the news to him, and Jonathan goes home to find the birthday card that Horace has left for him. It's his birthday too? What an incredible coincidence. Or an incredible fuck-up by the filmmakers. After the funeral, Jonathan does some thinking. And a hell of a nice place to park. He enlists the help of his friends, much like Nancy Thompson in Nightmare on Elm Street, to wake him up before he's killed in his dream. Also like Nancy Thompson did. He confronts Horace and is woken up on cue.
You got it, asshole.
He and the police arrive on scene and confront Horace for real. Smart. Throw your hostage right to the police. Jonathan and Horace have a fight, and Horace pretty much kicks his ass until the police show up and arrest Horace.
Stop it! God damn it, I mean it! On the ground!
Horace is then sentenced to the chair, off screen allegedly, and Jonathan and his father show up to watch the show. When the priest and the 2 guards come to get Horace, we see him doing this. You know, if there were a god of electricity or TV or whatever, I find it hard to believe that he would talk like this.
You got it, baby.
You know, I can understand them granting him a television in his cell as a last request, but the jumper cables I might question. So the guards think that Horace has fried himself, and when they attempt to resuscitate him,
Finger licking good.
he's eventually taken to the chair, and his last words are to Jonathan.
I was beating you real good when your mama tried to stop me with that gun that she brought into our happy home. And how clever you were grabbing that gun and shooting me right through the fucking knee, you little peckerhead! Such a big gun, just blasting away at your daddy with murder in your eyes. Like father, like son, huh?
The execution goes wrong and Horace disappears. When he is found, his body disintegrates. The doctor turns out to be possessed by Horace and kills the two officers. That night, Allison visits Jonathan in a dream.
You gotta stop him. Remember our love. Drive him out. Keep him away.
One of the cops from the accident shows up at Jonathan's apartment. Once he realizes that something's wrong, the cop goes apeshit. He chases Jonathan and shoots at him. And it's a movie revolver, so he'll have at least 8 or 9 shots before he has to reload. Let's see. By mistake, it was 11. Jonathan realizes it's Horace in the cop's body.
Pinker?
Right away, Horace possesses a little girl, and this body jumping shit really becomes hard to swallow. Horace attacks Jonathan, but the mother intervenes. Horace then jumps into her, and eventually to the steroid-induced Robert Carradine. The locket, which I guess wards off Horace, is then thrown into the lake. Jonathan turns to his coach and teammates for help. They devise a plan to retrieve the locket,
But there is something we can use to get him out before he kills the body. It's in the bottom of the lake.
but Horace Carradine was listening the whole time.
Now, wait, hold. Okay. All right. Maybe if I go look. Tell me what it is.
But you can't see a thing in here, Rhino, without a mask. No one can. I gotta go back to my place.
What are you...
So what the hell were you just about to do? Jonathan goes back to his apartment and finds another message. He also finds that his coach has been possessed by Horace.
Evening, Jonathan. Alone now, huh?
Who exactly wrote that message?
No, Mr. Nice Guy!
Thus we have the film's tagline. And Horace, for some reason, gets his own voice back.
Coach Cooper's bye-bye, asshole.
Allison's ghost shows up to plead with the coach to fight off Horace. The coach then kills himself, and Horace is left without a body. He and Allison face off, and she fends him off with some kind of a ghost beam. This movie just makes shit up as it goes. Like this. Jonathan's father shows up, and the two have a calm, emotional scene.
I've been proud to be your father. I can't see you a killer.
Until he arrests him for murder.
Freedom is rights.
though he does have the heart not to cuff him. Jonathan, however, realizes it's Horace, but he's rescued by his friend.
Come on, go, explain later, go!
His father chases him, conveniently to a TV station. After the two fight, Horace then teleports into the airwaves through the satellite dish. Another news bulletin explains that Jonathan was arrested, but while in jail, another family was murdered. After being released from jail, Jonathan once again enlists the help of his friends to devise a plan to stop Horace.
So we'll do what you asked us to do. Just make sure you do it exactly at midnight. Give me enough time, okay?
Because Jonathan's strategies have worked so well before. While his friends break into the power plant, Jonathan sets up a TV interview in exchange for delivering the killer.
I'm gonna go get the killer for you. Bring him right here.
He then goes to the lake to find the locket, because, hey, fuck the rules. Now he can see in the dark water without a scuba mask. But we find out that it's just a dream. You know, Wes Craven and all. While he's asleep, Pinker comes out of the TV, but has the courtesy to let Jonathan sleep. During the dream, Allison, along with the other victims of Horace, show up to give Jonathan their support. After he wakes up, he finds the locket around his neck. And Pinker attacks him through his electric recliner. I'm actually at a loss for words. So Pinker, now without the static body, beats the shit out of Jonathan while delivering some awful puns.
Come on, boy, let's take a ride in my Volkswagen.
But the magic locket fends him off. Jonathan chases him into the TV. Yeah, I feel stupid just narrating this. And we see the two fight over various TV clips.
Some unexplained appearances of Jonathan Parker and a man who looks very much like executed mass murderer Horace Pinker.
That's the way it is.
Eventually, they make it back to the interview, as planned, I guess, and Jonathan uses the TV remote to fight Horace.
You bought into TV, Pinker. Now you're bound by its rules.
Now we have rules? An hour and 40 minutes into this shit? His friends cut the power, and Pinker is released. Oh, the TV still has power. And the two fight some more. Jonathan finally uses the locket and jumps into the camera. Just go with it. But Horace can't follow him and blows up. Well, that was Shocker. Visually, it looked great. It had a high-energy, hard-hitting soundtrack and a pretty well-cast antagonist. But that's about all it had. The film's entire premise is ridiculous, the script felt like it was made up on set, and Peter Berg's acting, though usually pretty decent, was terrible. And Wes Craven seemed to have tried too hard to outdo himself, but fell far shy of his previous accomplishments. I call this film Rust. Well, until the next time, I'm the Stray Cat, and this was Diamonds and Rust.